Hello everyone. Well, as I promised, I'll be making you guys an Arachnotour video for March 2016. So this will answer the question, John, how many tarantulas do you have, or do I have a specific species? So with this video, it'll be divided into several parts. I'll go in alphabetical order and you'll see just about every tarantula, true spider, megalomorph, centipede, and scorpion that I have in my collection as of March 6th, 2016. Alright, so we're going to go in alphabetical order and enjoy the montage. Alright, T number 1, my Acanthoscurria geniculata, formerly A. rocklehursti, giant white knee. This is a 7-inch female named Sasha. This is number 2. This is the last Acanthoscurria in my collection. This one happens to be a Acanthoscurria suina, which is the sulfur brown bird eater. This is a 2.5-inch female named Chelsea. Number 3 and 4 are a pair of Aphonopelma chalcodes, the desert blonde. You can also refer to them as the Tucson blonde, the desert blonde, a whole bunch of variety of names. So this is Marge, a 1-inch female that recently molted. I had this one for about 5 years now. And this is my adult female named Marilyn II. Alright, so I kind of messed up the ordering, but I'll try not to do that again. This is number 6, an Aphonopelma bicoloratum, which is the Mexican bloodleg tarantula, one that's supposed to get up to only about 4.5 inches, similar to the chalcodes you just seen. One T that is similar to it is the Brachypelma bomi, but that grows much more larger. And number 7, way down in the burrow, is a potential male Aphonopelma seamani, which is the Costa Rican zebra that I got from the expo last year. Now that's all about as much as the Aphonopelmas I have in my collection. They're very rare to come by in Canada, and the US simply doesn't really have any interest in breeding their own specimens and to send it to us. So that's why you don't really see much in here, and they're really expensive here in Canada because of it. Alright, next up are my trio of pink-toe species, Avicularia. So number 8 is Maribel, my Avicularia avicularia. This was one of the offspring from our breeding project 4 years ago. As you can see, she's growing like a weed since then. This is a male suspect, possibly Avicularia metallica, the metallic white toe that I named Fester in my other video. And the last one is Kate, a female Avicularia versicolor, the Antilles pink toe. So, give you guys an idea. If you look where the book lungs are, you can see the epigastric furrow, and that indicates that this is a female tarantula. Yeah, you can really see it now. I love this girl. One of my favorites of the Avix. Hopefully when Canada gets their import, I'll be trying to get some. And that is pretty much of all the avicularies that I have. Alright, number 11 and 12 are my pair of Brachypelma albiceps, which is the Mexican gold red rump. Now this is my huge female, Stacy. She's around 5.5 inches, almost 6. This is about as big as they get. Really awesome species. And over here will be her potential boyfriend, Alberto, who is a male. Alright, number 12 and 13 are a pair of female Brachypelma albopilosum, the Honduras curly hair. So this is Aragog, and this is Sue the Second. Both of them are around 4 inches. Next up, 15 and 16 are yet another pair of Brachypelmas. Only these happen to be Brachypelma anitha, which is the Mexican giant red knee or Mexican giant orange knee. My little sling is over here, about 1 inch. Just chilling there. And then this is my juvenile potential female that is a serious hair kicker, and it looks like she might be in pre-molt probably within the next month or two. Very similar to the Mexican red knee, the B. Smithy, but this one has much more prominent orange on the knees rather than the Smithy that have much more red in them. And these are far more rare and more expensive than a B. Smithy. Okay, this is my only specimen of this one. This is a confirmed female, but possible Brachypelma baumgarteni, which is the giant orange beauty from Mocoa, Mexico. I paid this girl $200 from my friend Yuli, who's on the Facebook forum Tarantulas in Canada. Originally came from China, so hopefully this is a real one. And this one here is Chimera, number 18. This is a hybrid Brachypelma boehmei cross baumgarteni, which I also call the Mexican orange beauty. As you can see, this one has a lot more orange in color, very reminiscent colors of a B. boehmei. But what the baumgarteni have is the whole carapace is completely black, kind of like your B. Smithy. So imagine the B. boehmei colors, as you see right in front of you, with the B. Smithy carapace, and that is your baumgarteni. As you can see, this one is a juvenile. They do have a triangle, but as they start to age, we should get a lot more black color on them. So that's a good sign. And 16 to 17 and 18. Only have one specimen in this one, and lucky for me, it's a confirmed female. I just sexed the ventral. Yeah. This is a Brachypelma boehmei, the Mexican fire leg tarantula. As you can see, it's a very nervous Brachypelma and certainly a great hair kicker. As you can see, it differs a lot than that compared to the Aphonopelma bicoloratum that I shown. Not as nervous and not as hair flicky as this guy. Also seems to be sporting the dark triangle. Alright, the second time I did this again. Out of order. So these are number 20 and 21. A sex pair of Brachypelma auratum, the Mexican flame knee. So this is Leon, my male, that I've raised ever since he was a tiny half-inch spiderling. Seems to be doing well. And this was a purchase from Arachnophiliacs, Bruce, a female Mexican flame knee, the Brachypelma auratum. As you can see, that her left leg is kind of funky because she may have lost it during her molt, but as you can see, by another molt or two she should be back to her good old self. She'll still eat well. Great Brachypelma, very nervous, typical hair kicker, and she's really fun. See, kind of like the Bee Smithy, except you have the flame tip knees that really set it apart between that and the Smithy. Alright, trio. That means a trio of... Okay. Brachypelma emilia, the Mexican painted redleg, or the Mexican true redleg as some people call it. So, I will show you the smallest one that I have. I got this one from the Expo this past November. Speaking of which, the new Expo is going to be next week, so I will be collecting some specimens. So, if you want, you can write in the comments on which specimens you really want me to look for and add to my collection. I think it would be really good to, you know, give back to the YouTube community with my knowledge and to get tarantulas that I haven't collected in the past. But anyways, this is a 1-inch specimen that did initially show its colors right after its molt, but after it starts to harden out, we kind of lost that in the colors here. So, sorry for the focus, guys. You can just vaguely make out the dark triangle. So, definitely doesn't look like a Bee emilia as of yet, but once it gets to the 1.5-inch mark, you will then start to see their adult colors. So this is another Bee emilia that I acquired in the summer, I believe. So I'm just going to tap them just to be... Come on, there we go. So you can see it starts to look more like a Bee emilia. The dark triangle is apparent with the red legs. Now, I'm not sure if this is a male or female, but I'm hoping that one of these two that I have is a male, because I do have a big female that I got. Wasn't really cheap at all, but I very much enjoy the specimen. So, da-da-da-da! There it is. This is Emily. My big Brachypelma emilia, Mexican painted redleg. It's about 4.5–5 inches. That is the max that they grow. Not like huge like your Bee vagans or your Bee bomi. And quite the nice temperament too. Number 22. Fans that watch my channel will know the specimen very well. This is Petunia, my full-grown 5.5-inch female Brachypelma classy, which is the Mexican pink. Very docile, as I proved in my handling video of this specimen. Really love her chunky appearance and impressive colors. Not a common Brachypelma to find. Alright, number 23, you can see it right beside its vial. It is one of the smallest of the members of the Brachy genus. This one here is a Brachypelma schroderi, which is the Mexican black velvet tarantula. It will have very similar coloration to that of Grammosola pulchra, meaning it will be an all black tarantula, and it's a perfect tarantula for the people that don't really want a very large black tea. Also, when they molt, they'll have a really impressive velvety bluish black color to them once they molt. It's really fantastic. But this specimen is about an inch, doesn't have its adult color, so it still has a little bit more growing to do. Alright, so 24 and 25 are a classic! Classic meaning that this is the most fully recognized tarantula, and in my opinion that this is what actually started the hobby. This right here, I have a pair of Brachypelma smithii, more commonly known as the Mexican red knee tarantula. In my opinion, the best looking tarantula for the beginners. So this right here is Scarlet, who actually piqued my interest into recollecting tarantulas back in 2007, and initially piqued my interest to start a YouTube channel. And I went from 0 subscribers all the way up to 51,000 subscribers, and it's all thanks to her, because I really wanted to make videos on tarantulas to get people interested in this hobby. And so far, from the comments and the likeness and the subscribing, people really seem to like my channel, and I know I do appreciate you guys liking tarantulas and starting to collect them of your own. I mean, we need to get these more and more in the hobby now. Now, unfortunately, Brachypelma smithis are endangered species, so you can only get them as captive bred specimens, and they command high prices. So I've had her ever since that Scarlet was around that big, and 9 years later, she's about 5.5, 6 inches. She maybe has slightly more growing to do, but not too much. She just has to become a little bit more beefier. And this one here is the one I got from PDM 89 a couple of years ago, but it's still active and strong. This is my other B. smithii, Mexican red knee. Now, I'll just give you a slight budge on her. As you can see, they're really calm specimens, though they do kick hair, so just be wary of them. But they make an excellent display tee, and especially look at the colors. They're just drop dead gorgeous, and I can't wait to see when my bee Nitha will grow up, and I'll show you the real difference between them. But simply a must have in your collection. Okay, so this is another very common tarantula, and one of the easiest Brachypelma to acquire because of their very cheap prices. The next 4 I'll be showing you, so 26 to 29, are a quartet of Brachypelma vagans, or vagans, the Mexican red rump. Now over here, as you can see, these guys are a little bit more skittish than the B. smithii. This is my big female Morticia. She's around 6 inches, almost 7. These are one of the largest members that you can get, and very easy to care for. You just give it the terrestrial setup with substrate, a cave, a water dish, and some decor, and you're set. Let me just prod her so you can see her a little bit more well. Yeah, you can see it's not a very calm Brachypelma, but they're super gorgeous to look at, and as they molt, again, like the B. Schroderi, you're going to have a nice velvet color appearance to them. Okay, so that is my large female named Annette, Morticia. This is a potential female named Annette, after the Resident Evil 2 character. And I'm really super stoked that Capcom is deciding to remake Resident Evil 2. And I actually played the PlayStation version of it. As you can see, this little girl has huge balls of energy and super skittish, but she really loves her super worms, as you can see in the feeding videos. So she's about 2 inches and already has the adult colors, as you've seen in my big specimen. And the next two are freebies that I got from Tarantula Canada when I bought a lot of them back in the day. So yeah, you can see most of them are freebies. So we got one that's over here. It's about 3/4 of an inch. Doesn't have its adult colors yet, and this is a smaller one, 1/2 inch, which is over here. You're not going to see it well, but take my word for it, you can see it's right there where my finger is pointing to. Yeah, I'm going to give this guy a little bit more spacious pill vial, and I actually have some. Great, nice. And number 30 marks the very last Brachypelma in my current collection of March 2016. It is a Brachypelma verdezi, which is the Mexican rose gray. Very identical to that of the B. vagans. Now, pictures of verdezi are supposed to show a brown carapace with a black triangle. Unfortunately, mine, you don't really see it, but then again, this is only a 3-inch juvenile, so hopefully, or maybe she'll be different. But I'll make sure to keep my labels on for this one because it looks very similar to the B. vagans I showed you guys. Alright, now for some old world species. Number 32 is a Ceratojaurus marshalli, which is the straight-horned baboon in its little burrow. Here's a pair of Chilobrachys discalus blue, commonly called the Vietnamese blue. One is over here, and the second one hiding in its burrow. Alright, this is the new fresh one that I recently got. Remember I talked about in my B. Emilia video that was supposed to get a Chilobrachys rhomboides, Indian violet. Well, there she be. This is a 3-inch specimen. I do have to rehouse it into a 6-liter shoebox enclosure. In serious need of a molt. But they're really beautiful specimens to look at, and in my opinion, one of the best looking of the genus, Chilobrachys. Number 36 is an Israeli black, Chaetopelma olivaceum. 3.5 inches is pretty much the maximum size. This is about a 2-inch specimen. Number 37. A very serious Weber. It was originally Reptile Boy 91s. Green bottle blue, Chromatopelma cyanopubescens. This is a 4-inch female that I named Valencia the second, after my late female. A very gorgeous GBB. I'm surprised that this guy is still alive and kicking strong. This is my oldest living mature male, slightly over 2 years old. A Cryptopholus ramsey, commonly called a Cuban pygmy. I named him after Gordon Ramsay because of his ill temperament. As you can see, he's sporting his tibial hooks and his bulbous palps. By now he's probably sterile, so he's way too old to mate. Number 39 is my mature female Cyclosternum species Macala, the Peruvian peach color that I named Peachy Natasha. A very, very defensive, I can even call it aggressive specimen. As soon as you touch her, she'll rear up in threat posture and she'll attempt to bite. Very defensive New World next to my Pekin Cerrites, Haitian brown bird eater. Alright, this one here is not a tarantula. This one here is a Siphonesia species, black and silver trapdoor. Good luck trying to find it because it's a trapdoor and it burrowed down. I know that Tara the Terrible is still alive because every time I offer crickets, within a few days it's gone. So it's about a 2-inch specimen, maximum size. Alright, this tarantula is pretty microscopic. It's only about 1/4 of an inch. It's already sporting its adult colors is a Cercosmus elegans, which is the Trinidad dwarf. These only get up to having about 1.5 inch leg span as adult females. Males will probably be around 3/4 to 1 inch as mature specimens. Okay, so unfortunately one death to report. My Cercosmus rete had passed away. So moving on to a old world arboreal that really shows some burrowing tendencies is my Sarcopithecus species Haiti, which is known as the Sumatran tiger. Very similar coloration to the Omothymus shoiti, which is the Malaysian earth tiger. This is a 2.5 inch suspect female, but I haven't really seen this one out very often. Number 42 and 43 are a pair of Cercopithecus lividus, formerly Haplopelma lividum, cobalt blue. So this is a 2-inch spiderling, unknown sex. Starting to show the blue coloration on the legs. And this over here. Ugh. You won't be able to see her very well. This is my mature female, cobalt blue. You can just make out her body. Got this one from Fusion Exotics on the expo that I went to recently. So let's look at her burrow. Yep. pet hole, but it's a really awesome species to look at, and one of the best looking of the former Haplopalma species, next to the Schmitty Gold, which I currently don't have. Okay, this is another nice invert that I have in my collection. This, of course, is a tailless whip scorpion, a mature female Damon diadema that I named Dinah. These magnificent creatures appear in Resident Evil Revelations 2. If you play the episode 1. Very docile, but very skittish, invert, and non-venomous. Alright, these two are other trapdoors. These happen to be Darmarchus species, Indonesia, which is the golden leg trapdoor. I got a pair in there. You can see the fangs of one of them, but again, like my black trapdoor, they eat super well. Oh, there it is. Sweet. Alright, number 43, one of my pink tarantulas is a Davis fasciatus, formerly known as the Cyclosternum fasciatum, the Costa Rican tiger rump. This is a 4-inch female named Stella, after the Angry Birds character, the pink bird. I think it suits her name quite well. Pretty skittish. Okay, so I'm not sure if you can make out her legs and the yellow striping. This is my mature female Ephopus marinus, which is the skeleton tarantula. This is a 5.5-inch female named Bridget III. I got this one from the Reptile Expo I went to recently. Picked up this gorgeous girl for around $45. I'm assuming it could be a wild-caught specimen. That's very likely. Alright, this is another cute true spider, not a tarantula. And I've seen to have great luck with this one the second time around. This one here is a Erissus walkenari, which is the Greek ladybird spider. Now, these guys are pretty sizable as true spiders, so they'll get up to having a 3-inch, maybe even 3.5-inch leg span. And females will be the same as you see here, all black, but the males are really strikingly colored. They'll be pretty much black, but will have a red abdomen, and it'll be spotted kind of like a ladybird or ladybug. Now, the trick to these guys is to give them an arboreal setup, but you must have moist substrate, but the moss that they have to climb on has to be bone dry. If you have too much humidity in your walkenari tank, it'll not survive, and I think that was the main issue I had with them. But second time around, so far it's very healthy. I like it. I can't wait to see how fast this thing will grow. Coming from Greece. Not a very venomous species. Ah, perfect. No! Well, you just caught a glimpse of my only centipede. This is my Ethmostigmus trichinopodes, which is the Tanzanian blue-ringed centipede. Awesome. Alright, this one here is a beautiful female. You can see the purple femurs. Hailing from Chile, this is a Euathlus pulchromaclassi, also called the Chilean blue-green femur or purple femur, as in the case of this specimen. 4.5-inch female named L, named after the Silent Hill Homecoming character. Wanted to come to say hello to me. Awesome. Number 46 is my other Euathlus species, and this is the one I absolutely 100% recommend for beginners. If you remember the video that's on my trailer page, now if you remember the video that was on my trailer for the past couple of years, it's still on there right now. If you're new to a subscriber, this is the one that's titled My Great List of Beginner Species. This is the one that I handled at 12 minutes, the Euathlus species red, named Amber. Unfortunately, Amber is no longer with me. Now I do have a nice replacement spiderling. Absolutely gorgeous species. Dwarf species that gets up to having a 2-inch leg span, jet black with a red patch of hair on the abdomen, and this is one tarantula that is completely catatonic. I mean, I never have seen a very docile species of tarantulas before next to this one. This is about a 1/2-inch specimen. Takes a long time to grow, but these guys will live up to almost 25-30 years in captivity, and that's great in my book. T number 47 is my female, around 2.5 inches, Eucratocellus pachapus, which is the stout-legged baboon. A very awesome African species, and it's recommended if you want to delve into the old worlds. They're not as crazy bitey as the OBT or the cobalt blue. They have very forgiving temperaments, and they do like to burrow, so give them a lot of deep substrate for them to burrow and they'll be fine. A little bit fast, but certainly very manageable. And a very cute one too. Now, number 48 is a Eupalustris camperstratus, the pink zebra beauty, and also incredible tarantula for the beginner. These get up to having a 5 to 6 inch leg span and docile as they can be. My specimen made a burrow, so we won't be able to see this one very much. I know that she'll be due in this week's feeding video. And this one here is the one that really surprises me when I offer her crickets. This is a 1.5 unsexed Eupalustris wagenbergi, which is the white collared. Very similar to the PCB, only it's a dwarf species that only gets up to having a 3.5 inch leg span. Also a very docile species, though not very commonly seen in the hobby. T number 49 is one of the most sought after members of the Grammostola genus. This one here is a Grammostola pulchra, Brazilian black, that sports a ultra black color, especially appears almost velvety after a molt. So this is my immature male named Roy, meaning that he's not mature yet. He's currently about 4 inches. Don't see his hooks out yet, and his palps are certainly not bulbous yet, so Hopefully by next molt he might molt out into a mature male. If that's the case, I'll be pairing him up with number 50. The big 5-0 is Ebony, my gorgeous mature female, who I've had for the past 15 years. And when I originally got her back 15 years ago, she was about a 2-inch specimen, so very similar in size to my cobalt blue. A very, very gorgeous female. Next up, I'll be showing you my trio of females. Choco Goldeny, Grammostola poker piece. Over here is Peach, 4.5-inch sub-adult female. Very, very gorgeous. Okay, this is Peach's sister, Wendy, which I bought both of them together from the same sack. Even though that they're related, I would never put these two together, because still sibling rivalry will occur and cannibalism, meaning that they'll fight to the death and the loser will get eaten, and I do not want that to happen. Used to have a mature male named Mario, but he unfortunately passed away because he died as a mature male. Once Grammostola is mature, they probably have around a year left to live. And last but certainly not least is the largest of my Chacos. This is Charlotte, named after Charlotte's Web. Let me just get her up close so you can see what she looks like. There we go. Yeah, she is about close to 5.5, maybe 6 inches. Grammostola pulchripes are the second largest of the genus, around 8 inches, and I believe the Alticeps goes a little bit larger, maybe 7, 8.5 inches, but I don't have the specimen to show you guys in front of me, so this is what I have been hearing. However, none of my Chacos are pretty friendly to handle, so these guys are strictly hands-off, but that doesn't mean that other Chacos will be behaving defensively as well. Individual specimens will vary. Okay, so I have a few Grammostola rosea normal forms, or Grammostola porteri, which is the rose hair. These are the rose hairs that typically you would buy at a pet store, the ones that are brown bodied with a pink carapace. So this is Talia, one of my females. Here's Angelica, which could be the copper form. Okay. Here's number 56. This is my last rose hair normal form. This is the one that freshly molted, Michaela. Will be a perfect mate for Rose's mature male, G. rosea, that I will be breeding at the end of this week. I'll be feeding up this female very well, and we'll do our first pairing. And the reason why we're doing this pairing is because Chile has closed their imports on this species, meaning that soon they won't be available in pet stores. So you're going to have to buy them as captive bred species, and they're probably going to be a little bit more expensive than if you were to buy one for like $30 from like Petco or Petland. Okay, number 57 I thought I should do a little comparison between the rosea normal form and the rosea red phase. So this one here is the red phase rosea, as it looks very similar to the rose hair, except it has red coloration throughout the whole body. You won't see it this much on Lois because Lois has not molted for quite some time, so her colors are kind of drabby, but freshly molted females are really going to have a red color to them. And in comparison, here's Michaela once more. She is the normal form, or people like to call it the Poteri because they believe that these two forms are different species. Now, to me, there is no sufficient proof. I have yet to see physical evidence written on paper suggesting that these two are the same or different species, so I like to call this one the normal form in my videos / Poteri, which you'll be seeing in subsequent feeding videos, and this one I'll strictly call it the rosea RCF, RCF denoting red color form. However, you don't really see Lois too much in the videos because like typical roseas, they love to fast and they tend to be very, very shy eaters. Okay, number 58 is one of my most attractive members of my Grammostola collection. This is a 5-inch female Grammostola species Mull, which is the orange fluff tarantula. Simply a gorgeous female, sporting red coloration and a copper bronze carapace. Now the Grammostola rosea red phase will exhibit the same red coloration, except that in place of the darkened brown carapace, you're going to have a nice hot red carapace to it. I think this is a very beautiful species. Elora is certainly a lot better tempered than my other Grammostolas. And hopefully my next dream Grammostola will hopefully be Iringi, which is the Entre Rios tarantula, or Grammostola actaeon, which is the Brazilian woolly. Picture the black coloration of a Grammostola pulchra with the frizzy hairs all over their legs, just like your Biobopulosum. So rare, but very, very awesome.